Joe Kagi, known as the Italian Dragon, carved out a legendary career in the world of boxing that spanned over 15 years, leaving an indelible mark on the super middleweight division. With a remarkable record of 46 victories and no losses, Kagi became one of the most dominant and respected champions in the sport's history. His reign was defined by 21 consecutive title defenses and a decade-long hold on the top spot, where he faced and defeated some of the toughest contenders the boxing world had to offer. But beyond the gloves and the ring, Kagi's journey was one of resilience, family, and passion. Raised by his father, Enzo, a street musician from Italy, Kagi's rise to greatness wasn't just about physical strength. It was about the rhythm and discipline instilled in him by a father who chose boxing over music for his son's future. From his humble beginnings in a small Welsh mining village to becoming an undisputed world champion, Joe Kagi's story is one of dedication, perseverance, and an unwavering desire to be the best. This introduction sets the stage for a deeper look into Kagi's career, his pivotal fights, and the legacy he left behind. Joe Kagi versus Chris Eubank, 1997, WBO title fight.
I expect a good, clean fight. Give me good sportsmanlike conduct.
In here on the birth of a new star in Joe Calzaghe. He may have to go the full 12-round route against this fellow.
I think you've just picked up the pace a little bit more in this round.
Doing most of the work.
Joe Kagi's battle against Chris Eubank in 1997 for the vacant WBO super middleweight title was one of the defining moments of his career. The fight not only marked a major step in Kagi's rise, but also introduced him to the global boxing stage. Eubank, a former world champion, was a fierce competitor, known for his charisma and self-assuredness, having previously defended his titles multiple times. At the age of 25, Kagi was a relative newcomer to the spotlight, but his rise had been meteoric, making this fight a true test of his talent and heart. Eubank was known for his unorthodox style and mental toughness. A seasoned fighter with nearly 50 wins, he had ruled the super middleweight division for years. His reputation was that of a calculated, precise boxer with excellent counterpunching skills, making him a formidable opponent for anyone. Kagi, on the other hand, had impressed with his relentless pace, devastating left hand, and fast combinations that overwhelmed his opponents, often ending fights in the early rounds. His move to the WBO title fight against a veteran like Eubank was a huge leap forward. The first round was explosive as both fighters came out with high intensity. Kagi quickly made his presence felt, showing his explosive speed and unyielding power. Despite Eubank's experience and composed defense, Kagi's energy forced Eubank into uncomfortable situations. The crowd was buzzing with anticipation, sensing that Kagi's youthful vigor was giving him the edge. However, Eubank, who was known for his ability to weather storms, didn't back down and began to establish a rhythm as the fight wore on. Midway through the fight, tensions were high, with both fighters exchanging fierce combinations. Eubank's defense was tested as Kagi continued his barrage, landing several powerful shots, particularly with his left hand. The fight was turning into a chess match, with Eubank trying to outthink Kagi, while the Welshman used his speed to evade and land his punches. As the rounds progressed, Kagi's ability to maintain a consistent offensive pace was evident, wearing Eubank down both physically and mentally. In the latter rounds, Kagi's power and precision began to show as he took control. By the 10th round, it was clear that Kagi had the upper hand. Despite a brave rally from Eubank, Kagi's superior conditioning and relentless pressure were too much. The fight culminated in a dramatic final few rounds, where Kagi sealed his victory by landing a powerful combination that dropped Eubank, marking the end of the contest. Joe Kagi won by unanimous decision, claiming the WBO super middleweight title. This victory was a significant turning point for Kagi's career. It was the moment he proved that he could handle elite-level competition and emerge victorious. The win not only earned him a prestigious world title, but also announced his arrival as one of the premier fighters in the super middleweight division. His success over Eubank would go on to pave the way for even more defining moments in his illustrious career, marking him as an undefeated champion. Joe Kagi versus Robin Reed, 1999. Title defense.
Warren proudly presents the War of the World's main event of world.
Grabbing and a bit of talking in there.
The young Welshman, only the 9th world champion ever from Wales.
Winking to the Reed corner, showing his confidence, his disdain for their man. Really just getting into his rhythm now.
Reed's trying to walk through these shots to land his own, but got picked up by a dazzling combination from Calzaghe.
In early 1999, Joe Kagi faced the former WBC champion, Robin Reed, in what would become one of the defining defenses of his super middleweight title. Reed, an Olympic bronze medalist, was a formidable opponent, known for his speed and technical boxing skills. This fight was important for Joe not just because of the challenge Reed posed, but also because it was another step in solidifying Kagi's dominance in the super middleweight division. The fight began with Reed looking to make an impression early, trying to control the pace and using his reach to keep Kagi at a distance. However, Kagi's relentless pressure and ability to work both inside and outside soon started to dictate the tempo of the fight. Kagi, known for his exceptional conditioning and unyielding work ethic, wasn't intimidated by Reed's Olympic pedigree. He started to break through Reed's defense by targeting the body, which forced Reed to keep his guard lower, opening up more opportunities for Kagi to land his signature combinations. Despite Reed's technical approach, Kagi demonstrated a superior ability to adapt during the fight. His footwork allowed him to close the distance and land precise, powerful punches to both the head and the body. Reed's attempts to counter were met with Kagi's sharp reflexes, and he responded with flurries that overwhelmed the challenger. Kagi's strategy was to break Reed's resolve by mixing up his punches and keeping the pressure constant. The Welshman was relentless in his pursuit of victory, making Reed miss and countering with sharp, devastating shots that began to wear down the former champion. In the 5th round, Reed found an opening for a right-hand cannon that landed cleanly. For a brief moment, the shot seemed to catch Kagi off guard, but he quickly regained his composure. Instead of backing off, Kagi used the situation to his advantage, finding a new level of intensity. His aggression paid off as Reed began to tire under the continuous barrage from the champion. The fight began to take a brutal turn as Kagi's constant jabbing and body shots drained Reed's energy, forcing him into defensive mode. As the rounds wore on, Reed's ability to find success became less frequent, and Kagi's control over the fight became undeniable. The Welshman began to pour on more combinations and controlled the center of the ring with ease. Reed attempted to fight back, but Kagi's relentless style overwhelmed him. Despite a few desperate rallies from Reed, Kagi's defense and timing ensured that he stayed in control. By the end of the bout, 2 out of 3 judges had scored the fight in favor of Kagi, solidifying his 5th successful title defense. His performance proved that he was not just an exceptional fighter in the ring, but a champion who could withstand adversity and find ways to dominate when faced with a tough challenger. The victory against Reed was another testament to Kagi's skill, grit, and ability to defend his title with an iron fist, further cementing his place at the top of the super middleweight division. Joe Kagi versus Omar Shah 2000 title defense.
Better chin, and in my opinion, the better chin belongs. President Francisco Valcasella, the supervisor and steward championship of the world. Gio Rodriguez will now give his final instructions to both boxers.
It's for the world title, but it means more. Calzaghe has not reached the dizzy heights since this.
This is the best I've seen Calzaghe in a long time. The most aggressive. I felt Shaker style.
In the summer of 2000, Joe Kagi faced the young and ambitious contender Omar Shah in a title defense that would solidify Kagi's reputation as an elite champion. Shah, with a record of 20 wins and only 1 loss, was eager to make a statement in the super middleweight division. The fight took place at Wembley, where the Welsh champion was once again the clear favorite. However, Shah was determined to put up a strong fight. From the outset, Joe Kagi showcased his unparalleled composure, experience, and technical mastery. He was no stranger to the pressures of being the reigning champion and, once again, proved his ability to rise above the competition. Kagi's ring IQ was on full display as he immediately established control with his signature left hand, using it to dictate the pace of the fight. His jab was sharp, precise, and often set up combinations that kept Shaw off balance. Shaw, to his credit, showed resilience early in the fight. His quick hands and willingness to engage kept Kagi on his toes. Shaw was looking for an opening, trying to land a clean shot that could shift the momentum. However, Kagi's defense was nearly flawless. He moved fluidly around the ring, ducking and weaving, and never allowed Shaw to land any clean punches. Whenever Shaw got close, Kagi's counterattacks were fast and punishing, often catching his challenger off guard. As the rounds progressed, it became clear that Kagi was in control. The Welshman's combinations flowed effortlessly, as if each punch was part of a well-rehearsed symphony. His relentless pressure wore down Shaw, forcing him to retreat more often than he would have liked. Kagi's ability to maintain an unrelenting pace while staying defensive and calculating was a testament to his unmatched conditioning and skill. By the fifth round, Shaw's spirit began to waver. Kagi, sensing the end was near, began to open up more with his attacks, landing hard left hooks and straight right hands. Shaw, though tough, could not keep up with Kagi's rhythm, and his earlier attempts to push the champion back seemed futile. The difference in experience, technique, and strategy was becoming more apparent with each passing round. In the later stages of the fight, Kagi switched gears. His technical precision was now matched by sheer aggression. The challenger, battered and bruised, struggled to mount any significant offense. Kagi's power, combined with his sharp boxing IQ, was too much for Shaw to overcome. Finally, in the 10th round, after a sustained barrage of punches, the referee stepped in to stop the fight. Joe Kagi retained his title in dominant fashion, with a unanimous decision victory. Shaw had shown heart, but it was clear that Kagi was on another level. This victory added another successful defense to Kagi's remarkable streak, further cementing his place as one of the greatest super middleweights of all time. Joe Kagi versus Mikkel Kessler, 2007.
Kessler says he's got the making of the Welsh wizard. Both firing away. Calzaghe chases his man, sensing that perhaps Kessler is hurt. But gave in to his desire. Good right argument to say that's not the case. Back comes Calzaghe again. Likewise for Kessler.
Undisputed title fight. In the spring of 2007, Joe Kagi faced Mikkel Kessler, a dominant, undefeated boxer from Denmark, in a battle for the undisputed Supi. In the spring of 2007, Joe Kagi faced Mikkel Kessler, a dominant, undefeated boxer from Denmark, in a battle for the undisputed super middleweight championship. This fight would not only determine the best fighter in the division, but also attract widespread attention as two of the sport's top athletes squared off in what would be a historic showdown. The stakes were incredibly high. Kagi, already a seasoned champion, was looking to defend his legacy and solidify his place as one of the best boxers of his era, while Kessler was eager to prove himself as the future of the division. The contest took place in Kagi's backyard in Cardiff, Wales, before a raucous home crowd of 50,000 spectators. This was the culmination of Kagi's decade-long reign in the super middleweight division, having successfully defended his title 21 times. On the other hand, Kessler entered the ring with an undefeated record and a string of dominant performances. With a combined record of 82-0 between the two men, the fight was anticipated to be an all-out war. From the opening rounds, Kagi began asserting his control, utilizing his vast experience and signature fluid boxing style. His jab, which was sharp and precise, was complemented by his trademark left hand, which set the tone for the early exchanges. Kessler, known for his strong right hand and relentless aggression, was not easily deterred. He worked to land his shots, trying to counter Kagi's smooth movement with powerful attacks. However, Kagi's exceptional footwork and ring intelligence allowed him to stay one step ahead. The fight continued as a tactical chess match, with both fighters attempting to outsmart one another. Kagi's ability to adjust his rhythm and timing became evident as the rounds progressed, frustrating Kessler, who struggled to land clean shots consistently. By the middle of the fight, Kagi had gained a clear advantage. using his jab to measure distance and follow up with combinations that overwhelmed Kessler. Despite Kessler's best efforts, Kagi's superior ring control and composure made it clear that he was in command. As the rounds went on, Kagi's energy and output remained high. Kessler, though determined, began to show signs of fatigue. His attempts to catch up with Kagi were met with swift counterpunches, and his defenses started to break down. Kagi's combinations were relentless, targeting Kessler's body and head with pinpoint accuracy. By the final rounds, Kagi had not only weathered Kessler's best shots but also capitalized on every opportunity to assert his dominance. The fight concluded with Kagi having established himself as the undisputed super middleweight champion, successfully defending his legacy while cementing his place in boxing history. His victory over Kessler was a masterclass in technique, stamina, and strategy, and it solidified Kagi as one of the finest boxers to ever grace the ring. The win marked a decade of excellence for the Welsh champion, and despite the fierce competition, he remained the best in the division, continuing to build his legacy as an undefeated icon in the world of boxing. Joe Kagi versus Roy Jones Jr., 2008. Final fight.
Obey my commands at all times and protect yourself at all times.
Going down, he got hit with a punch that Jones just shot in anticipation of the way his head was going to be.
And he understands what's up with Jones now. That he's not faced by what happened in round one, and that he can swamp Jones
as well as out punch.
Calzaghe with the right hand. They're going to fight down the stretch of the rounds.
In 2008, Joe Kagi faced Roy Jones Jr. in what would be his final fight before retiring. The highly anticipated match took place at Madison Square Garden, with thousands of Welsh fans cheering their hero. The bout began with a quick flash as Kagi was dropped by a sharp shot from Jones, reminding everyone of the American's legendary speed and skill. However, Kagi responded fiercely, showing that despite being in the twilight of his career, he was still a dominant force in the ring. Throughout the fight, Kagi employed his trademark combination of quick jabs, precise left hands, and smooth movement to outmaneuver Jones. By the third round, Kagi's advantage became clear as he continued to push the pace, overwhelming Jones with his fast-paced rhythm and superior conditioning. Jones struggled to keep up, while Kagi showcased his resilience, enjoying his last moments in the ring. In the end, Kagi claimed victory, leaving the ring as an undefeated champion. Joe Kagi's final fight against Roy Jones Jr. marked the end of an extraordinary career. With a flawless record intact, he retired as one of boxing's greatest champions, leaving behind a legacy of dominance, skill, and heart.